Why this place is special? This is the first Sunday of the year. That's a blessing right there. Amen. We don't know where we're going to be, but we know the first Sunday of the new year. Look at this Sunday. How he brought us over from the last year, beginning of the new year. Could nobody do it but God. Not that we have been so good last year that we deserve to be over this year. But I'm so glad that the God that we serve looked beyond our thought and saw our needs. You know, couldn't nobody do that with God. People talk and say what they can do, but couldn't nobody do it with God. When we went to sleep last year, we didn't know what we were going to wake up to this year. But look at us. The first Sunday in the new year. That is the beginning. We don't know what the end gonna bring, but I'm so glad that we're here in the beginning. We don't know what the weather gonna do, but I'm so glad that he knows the weather. You know that's good. Whatever comes out, he already knows. He knows before he can give him. All we got to do is just trust and believe that he's gonna do exactly what he already promised that he's gonna do. And as we begin to look at that and think about our lesson last week, we looked at, we were talking about Dr. Luke. We were Dr. Luke, and I found out Dr. Luke was telling us about this man. And this man, Dr. Luke, was telling us about, kind of relate to what we want today. Because if you remember last week, the man had problems. And then when we look at our subject today, it says what? In time of what? Trouble. So I looked at that there, and I connect what it said. In times of trouble. With this man, he had problems. Last week, he had trouble. So as we look at our subject today, where I said, in times of trouble. So what about trouble? The question today says, come to Psalm, in Psalm 10. Some of them said it's written by David. Now, we know that David had problems. When you speak of trouble, you talk about problems. What does that mean? David had it. And we know since David had problems, and last week the blind man had problems because he couldn't see. David has his problem. So when you begin to do what this lady talk about how you connect both of them together, we have problems in times of trouble. So as I began to look at it, and I looked at the word where I said, in times of trouble. In is that preposition. What that means, it's coming. In means it's coming. Then it says time. What the Ecclesiastes said, there's a time for all things. And then what it said, in time of trouble. So that let me know in 2025, there's going to be in, which is coming. And then it says, not only is coming, what's coming? Time. And what does time bring on? Trouble. Look at that. It says, in time of trouble. What I love about that subject, and I begin to look and read about this subject, when it says, in time of trouble, let me know no matter how good that I say I am, this year, 2025 is going to bring me in time of what? Trouble. That means trouble is coming. I may not have trouble right now, but if I make it home, what's going to happen? Trouble comes. Our subject said, in time of trouble. It's coming. I left last year, oh Lord, this is going to be a better year. Yes, it will be a better year. But what's going to happen? In time of trouble. And let me know, there's no way around. If you think you don't have no trouble, you must have definitely know. Because even our baby have trouble before we even get here. You know, you ladies know the problem that you all go through. What's that? That's trouble. Before we even get here, you got trouble. So what it says, in times of what? Trouble. That let me know in the preposition is coming. Trouble coming. Nobody here exists have had trouble. Trouble means that you got problems. I have problems. What you have problems? You might have problems with your spouse. You may have problems with your children. But what it says, in time, there you go. In time, you're going to have what? Trouble. There's no way around trouble. When does trouble begin? When I went back and thought about trouble again, it began when Adam and Eve decided they're going to disobey God. That's when what? Trouble began. That's the first time trouble began. And you know, as I looked there and I saw that was the first 14th generation trouble began. So then I came to the next 14th generation. This is when David appeared. And what did David have? Trouble. And then I came to the next generation. That's with Jesus. And what did Jesus have? When did he have his trouble? When he started telling people what was right. Who did he have trouble from? His own people. What do that tell me? My own people don't cause me trouble. Because it says what? In time, you're going to have what? Trouble. So if he had, I'm talking about Christ, he done nobody wrong. He's born, but he had what? Trouble. So if Christ had trouble, and I call myself to be like Christ, what am I going to have? Trouble. I like it. And that song, it's a song that goes about this trouble. You know, we got so much trouble. Every time you look around, there's trouble. Every time you look on the news, there's trouble. No matter where you look, no matter where you go, you're going to have trouble. Sometimes you get up in the morning, you get ready to start your car, it won't stop. So what do you have right there? Trouble. So how can I go around trouble? You can't. There's no way around it. In time to suffer. In time of trouble. Trouble is always coming. And then the reason I know trouble is coming, I kept on reading, so I went down to a man by the name, the second 14th generation, by the name of Job. What did Job say? Man that is born of a woman is a few days and full of what? Trouble. What is the word? Trouble. So that means all of us was born of a what? A woman. I don't care what you say. I don't care where you go to say, I'm a man, but I'm having a baby. That's not what it says. What it say? Man born of a what? Woman. And what he gonna have? Full of trouble. So what did that tell me? You gonna have trouble. And that tells you that what? There's no way around trouble. And then I kept on reading, I kept on thinking. So I went back. You know, I love to go back. I went back to our days. Let me go back to our days. 1972. Anybody know about 1972? I know some more people about 72. Well, you don't know. I'm going to tell you about 72. That was the movie came out. The man's name was Robert Cook. And the name of the movie was Trouble Man. Now, everybody know the Trouble Man? Yeah. Trouble Man. I know some people know about that Trouble Man. And what was it? The Trouble Man was the man that they called when they had a problem. But you know, I realized that man couldn't help me because he was a what? He was a man himself. So that lets you know that man had trouble. And then as I kept on reading about that, I realized the man who written the lyric to that movie was Marvin Gaye. And you know he had trouble. So what you got? Trouble. There's no way around the what? Trouble. No matter how you look at it, you're going to have trouble. It says, in time, there will be trouble. As we get into this lesson here and think about what David said, some of them give credit to David writing this here. And it's something says, in time that we're going to have trouble, David had trouble. We know the trouble that David had. As we begin and look at that first time, it says, a plea for deliverance. What's a plea? A cry. Or a request. But what I learned about the man last week, the blind man, he knows who to call on. Today, we see this man, which is David, he knows who to call on when he have trouble. Now, my question is, who do you call when you have trouble? We told you last week you couldn't call the Ghostbusters, because they couldn't help you know. But you can call on one person for trouble. Who is that? When you call on Jesus. Call him. Call him up. I like the song said, call him up, and then what you do? Tell him what you want. That's all you got to do to call him up. So when you have trouble, don't look to us. Who do you look to? Look to Jesus. How do you look to him? Go down, and then let it go what? Up. And who hear that? Nobody but you. So when you got trouble, whatever your trouble may be, you got to know who to call. Don't call the doctor, because the doctor just like you is man. Don't call the nurse, because the nurse just like you is woman. Don't call your children, because they can't help. When you got trouble, you need to call the trouble man. And you need to call the one who does what? Fix it. He can fix it. I don't know nothing that he have done. When the doctor said no, I called on Dr. Jesus. What did he say? That's the yes. So that means I need to call on the man who can fix all my trouble. And this lesson begins with a plea for deliverance. And you notice today, David talking about deliverance. When we mean deliverance, what's that talking about? A plea for deliverance. What is it? He wants somebody to help him. He got problems. And said, what happened? He got some trouble around him. So he knows who to call on. He called on the right man that can fix his problem. And we ought to call on the right man to fix our problem. But we call everybody else, and then we go down our knees. But what you need to go what? Go down first. If you go down first, the problem is already solved. What I like about this man, and this lesson will tell us, he may not come when you want him to, but what happened? On time. And what I love about, not only he's on time, but when he comes, I think he said, he come, he show up, and he what? Show out. I'm talking about this the man that we need to talk about. So when you talk about a plea for deliverance, no matter what your problem may be, all you need to do is go down and know who to call. Because if you know who to call, the problem is already solved. All you got to do is just tell him, which you already know, but it's no harm just tell him. Help me right now, Father. Just give him a little help, and there he comes. Nobody but him can do it. I like that word. Nobody but him can do it. Not me, not you, nobody but him. So when you say a plea for deliverance, I want you to come on right now, Lord. Come on and what? See about me. That's what? I'm down here in this old simple world. So I need your help. Come on in here, Lord. This man, David, we're talking about today, he was pleading for help. David had some problems around him. We know David had big problems. Here, David had a problem. And read, as David gets into this problem, what is tell about him?
Verse 12. Arise, O Lord, O God, lift up thine hand, forget not the humble.
Look what he said. He sounds like God is what? Arise, what that sound like? He sounds like God sleep though. Arise. You know, I like how he defined that. He didn't say one. He said who? Oh Lord, oh God. What is that? He gives him his title. That lets you know when a man called oh Lord, oh God, he got to be in serious trouble. He didn't say oh God. He said what? Oh Lord, and then oh God. I want you to rise. Both of them. He gave him all his titles. I want you to rise. Jesus was already wrong. At this time, they was talking about God. So God was already there because we know he's up in the present. What does that mean? He's everywhere all the what? Same time. So I'm telling him to arise. Tell him to rise up. He's already up. Are you up? That's the question. Was he up? He asked God, arise. God, he already up there. Oh God, oh Lord, arise. And then all of that, he goes and pleads with God. He said, oh, rise, God. Look what it said. Now, hand. Now, when it said hand, how do you think he used the word hand? I'm wrong. I didn't want to make you get it. Hand means your strength. Strength is in your hand. If you go back to the Bible, it said, and Jesus, when they nailed his hand to the cross, what did that do? That's what we're taking his strength. Our strength is in our hand. So he asked the Lord, my hand, Lord, your hand. But what they realized, when they nailed his hand to the cross, what I got out of his hand, and they did it, he rose. So when he rose, he had all what? Power in his hand. To me, they should have let his thing nailed to the cross. Because remember the thing that the hand had done. What happened? The hand had healed the sick. The hand had raised the dead. So I'm talking about the hand, that's power. So what they should have done is let the hand stay there, but they messed up. They put the hand down and they rolled the hand up. And when the hand came up, he didn't come up by himself. What did he come up with? The hand. So he telling them, Lord, this is what David said. Your hand. Your hand on. Your hand. Just put your hand on. Have you heard somebody say, boy, if you don't stop, I'm going to put a hand on. Am I not somebody old school know that stuff?
When they said they were going to put their hand on you, what does that mean? They're going to put their belt on you. Boy, girl, if you keep on, I'm going to put the hand on you. I didn't want my dad and mama to put my hand on me because I know what that hand meant. That hand means trouble. And trouble. And trouble means that's the problem. So that means I was the problem. They just going to put their hand on me. And you don't want that hand. This is what David said. Lord, just put your hand on me. Put your hand on me. Take away that power there. Read it. If you take away the power, what the next one says?
Verse 13. So wherefore the wicked contemn God. He had said in his heart, thou wilt not require me.
What is the wicked talking about? The wicked said to him, there's no God. They do that. The pagan people, there's no God. What they saying? Looked like everything was going well for them. So there's no God. Who you serving? And you serving something. You serve this God. Why aren't you like me? If you serve this God, why don't you have the same amount of money I have? I look at you, you don't have the money. As Brother Ty said, you in the food stamp line. Because you serve this God, why do you want to serve that God? If you looking for a handout. That's what he's saying right here. Why you want to serve that God? You asking somebody to pay your bill. Why you asking somebody to pay your bill if you serving that God that you serve? Think about what he's saying there. This wicked God, this wicked people say that. Don't nobody say that but wicked people. And you know, the world is full of what kind of people? Wicked people. The wicked one that doesn't believe in God. They believe they came here on their own. They believe they're going to leave here on their own. They don't believe in what? God. And David telling them about all them wicked people. David know where God had brought him from at that early stage. He know what the wicked people had done to him. So he's saying that, now Lord, look what they said about you. They said, if you, the God that you say, why are you letting me suffer like this in? Have you ever thought about that? If I'm serving this mighty good God, why does he let me suffer? Why? It's so you can. Patient. Patient. He let you go through these things and let you have patience now so you can what? Trust in him. Don't trust in the doctor. You trust in who? Him. So that's what he's telling you. These things him. So what they said, so you mean to tell me you serve this God that's such a good God ain't gonna let you suffer like that there? Sometimes suffer give you strength. Sometimes suffer make you get stronger. Get stronger who? Stronger in him, not you. That's why he let you go through things like that to see really where you are. Can you realize that you had everything going your way? What would be? I need God. I got everything going my way. That's what the wicked said. The wicked got everything they need, and what the first thing they said? I need God. Where's my God? In my pocket. Where's my God? In my nice home. Where's my God? I'm riding it. That's the wicked. But what do we say? The God that we serve, he allowed things like that to happen so we can come closer to him. The God that we serve allowed that so you know that he is what? God. Think about those folks that stayed there a long time. How long did they stay? 400 years. And we came up and said, stay 4 minutes. We can't even stay 4 hours. And we get to stay too long. Where's God at? He is there. I think the song said, he is there when? That means what it said. All the time. There's no break. But what do? If he don't come when we want to, we're ready. Where's your God? That man asked, where's your God? That he's so good to you. Why did he let you suffer like that? Because that is who? God. And then if I jump into the New Testament, somebody else suffered and did nobody wrong. Who was that? Jesus. He did nobody wrong, but he suffered. Here we are, anytime a little pain comes, we're ready to give up. Jesus didn't give up. If he had gave up, where would we be? If he had gave up, what is eternal? What we looking for? Eternal life. He didn't give up. So if Jesus didn't give up for me, why should I give up for him? So I know and you know that he's the one. David knows right here that he can call on God, no matter what the wicked say about the God that he served. David said he gonna stay right there because he believed that God will, I believe it said, deliver. All you got to do is believe that God will deliver you. Whatever you're going through, just remember, God can, and he made that promise that he will do whatever it is. It's no problem that God can't fix. It's no trouble that he can't fix. You can call anybody you want to, but you need to call on who? God. They can do that. And then read what that next tell us about that.
Verse 14. Thou hast seen it, for thou beholdest mischief and spite, to requite it with thy hand, and poor commit himself unto thee. Thou art the helper of the Father.
Look at you. God, I know you've seen it. The reason I know you've seen it because you are his brother. That means you are everywhere. So God, you see the trouble that we are going through. Now he can't go back to everybody. He said, you see the trouble that we're going through. Then it said, in spite of the requirement they talking about, he go right back to the what? Hand. All I want you, God, is to put your hand on them. They tell them, look like they trying to tell God, God, I want you to put your hand on them. I'm not asking you, not God. I'm what? I'm telling you, God, to put your what? Hand on them. Now he knows at that time, if God put his hand on them, what would happen? Them don't change. He hadn't failed yet. When God put his hand on them, David know that same hand brought him way up. Let me see. When David fight for life, I believe the hand was right there with him because it wasn't the stone. It was what? It was the hand right there. So David already knew what the hand can do. You know what I like about it? If you know what the hand can do, and when the doctor comes to your room and said, no more, all I can do is remember who? Remember that I called on a man got the what? Hand. And when he put his hand on you, and he come back a few hours later and said, I don't know that. I know you don't know, but I know because you came in. God came in. And what he had, put the hand on me. You know, sometimes God, you put your hand on you. Other times you put that hand on you to correct you. You know, we need a hand sometimes. When we get too big for ourselves, we got to come down. So when you get too big for yourself, God might put a hand on you. If he just laid a hand on you, that's going to get your attention. How is that? I'm going to lay you down for a minute. I'm going to let you kind of suffer for a minute. When I let you suffer for a minute, that lets you know you're going to need me. I don't need to die. But everybody said no. The hand going to say yes. But it's going to take time. Because look what you done. You remember all the bad days that you didn't listen to me? So what I'm going to do? I'm about to lay the hand on you. And what's in that hand? Power. That's hand. That's power. Our hand lies in power. And God knows it. David knew that right there why he said, I want you to put your hand on them, God. If you put your hand on them, God, they're going to leave me alone. Have you ever noticed sometimes the enemy is so bad on you, you probably want God to put what? Put the hand on God. You be kind of asking that. You know it's wrong, but I'm asking how God put his hand on God. Because, you know, this thing that I'm carrying, that they keep on talking about me, I'm not doing anybody wrong, but they just keep on talking about me. I'm not doing anybody wrong, but my name is way over there, and I'm trying to live right, Lord. What I want you to do, Lord, is put the what? Put the hand on. Just put the hand on right now. Put the hand on, Lord. Because you know if the Lord put his hand on, he's going to get your attention. Everybody put the hand on. I think he put the hand on Pharaoh. How many times did it come? 10 times? And the 10 times, the hand got on Pharaoh. And when he put the hand on Pharaoh, what he told Moses to do? Hey, get him out of the Moses. Because what? The hand had made this difference. All he had to do is wait on the what? Wait on the hand. So what? You got trouble. You don't put your hand on them. But now, when we got trouble, the first thing we do, we run home, get a gun, and here we go. We want to take God's place. You want to put your hand on. But you don't have to do that. All you have to do is put God's hand. Let God put his hand on them. And how do I do that? Keep on praying. Keep on trusting him. Because if I trust and I keep on praying and I believe that he's going to do what he said, all I need to do is step back and let him put the hand on. Every time God put his hand on, he can fix it. David knew that, right now. He knew that God put his hand on, he can fix it. And Rita, since he put the hand on them, what's the next time?
Verse 15. Break down the arm of the wicked and the evil man. Seek out his wickedness till thou find none.
You know, David, he really wanted to hurt, didn't he? David really wanted them to be hurt. What he said? Break the arm. You telling God, break the arm. And what comes with the arm of a man? Power. So he's telling God, break the power, God. Break that power. How do you break the power? Break the arm. If you break your arm, how can you feed yourself? If you break your arm, how can you fight? I've never seen an armless man fight. Okay, good. So what David tell them? Break the arm. If you break the arm, Father, they can't do anything. That's what I want you to do. Break it. You know, David had a demand for God. He wasn't asking God. I think he was telling God, do this for me, God. You know, sometimes we forget to ask God, we want to do what? Tell God. That means it's like people hunt. You know, they hunt folks. When you got a dog in the woods, what you got a dog? Six. Get it. So look at David. David got to tell God, get him, God. I want you to get him for who? Get him for me, Lord. So look what they done to us here. So Lord, I want you to go ahead and get him. Get him, Lord. I'm not telling you, action, God. I'm telling you that. And that's the wrong thing. You don't need to tell God. You need to do what? Ask God. He already knows. He doesn't want you to ask him. But we got the wrong thing. We want to tell God, God, I want you to do this. I want you to do this for me. We don't say, God, will you? Will you do this? We leave the will out and we go straight to the telecom. You know, I always tell people, I like to ask people to do things. Because when you ask people to do things, you get a better response. And you know that when you have children, we all have children somewhere, and you tell your children something, sometimes, what do you do when you tell them something? They can say they found up, obedient, they'll do it. A lot of times I find out when you tell a child to do something, that makes it go ahead, even though it's your child, it's better to what act. Will you do this to me? You know, you do it in that kind of way, but what the child will do, go right ahead and do it. But what do we do? Boy, you better do this here. What's the word? I better do this here? Yeah. If you said, son, will you do this? Will? Don't that sound better? Yeah. If I ask you, will you do this for me? I still say, bro, do this. I'm commanding you to do something. And what's the first thing bro gonna tell me? I'm grown like you. I'm grown like you. You don't tell me nothing. You do what? Ask me. But right here, David couldn't wait. David had to tell God to do something. And that might have been why God kind of waited a little bit, because David got to realize who's in charge. He was not in charge, but God was in charge. And then there comes the question about this. The question says, how can the faith community utilize God's power to break the arm of social injustice in their community? How can we use God's power to break the arm of social injustice? Pray. That's all we have to do. All we have to do as a community is pray. And when you pray, pray from the heart. Don't pray from the mouth. A lot of people do things from the mouth, and you know where they go? Down. Do it from the heart. When you do it from the heart, and God knows that you're doing it from the heart, that's when God begins to move. He moves when you begin that, because God knows that you are sincere about what you're saying. Anybody can talk a good talk, but talking a good talk and walking the walk is two different things. You got to do both. You need to be able to talk, and you need to be able to walk. When you talk and walk about Christ, that's what you want to talk about. So if the faith community come together and stop playing this game that we're playing, and believe that God can do it, no matter what the situation come about, you believe God can handle it, and then it says, turn it over to who? Him. And how do I turn it over to him? By praying, and then I what? Leave it there. When the preacher tells you come to the altar, what did he tell you to do? Bring your problem to the altar and do what? So if I bring my problem to the altar, I come back and sit down with my problem. Why come to the altar? If you take your problem to God and come back with the same problem, don't think God can fix it. Why take two? Why do you take something to God? Because he can be what? He can fix it. That's why you take to him. If you didn't think God could do it, why do it? When your children ask you for some money, they don't think you got it. Why they ask you? Because they have faith that you what? You got it. And this is the same thing about God. When you realize that God is God, and you go to him for your problem, and then when you go to him, you leave your problem with him. Don't take your problem back. Why should I pray if I don't believe in the prayer? You have to have faith that God will heal your prayer. Me? He said, they said, if you pray, don't worry. If you worry, don't pray. It makes a lot of sense. Why should I do that if I think God can't do it? David this morning, he knew God could do it. Why? Because God had already did it one time for him. God had already did it, what, 2 times for him. God had already did it about 3 times for him. So if I go back to the same God, if he did it 1 time for me, if he did it 2 times for me, the same God can do it what? 3 times for me, because I trust and I believe. And the same God that brought you over, the same God that brought you over from all your bad last year, brought you over to this new year, can't you trust him? No matter what, who take office, we say, all I got to do is trust who? God. Don't worry about who's in the White House. You need to worry about who's in the big house. And who is in the big house? If you know you got God in the big house, don't worry about the white and blue house. All you got to do is trust who? God. So we have to put our trust in him. If David did it, can we do it? We read about what happened back then. If they trust God back then, and he was the same God back then, as he is today, I believe that he's the same what? Yesterday? He's the same what? Today? And he's going to be the same for what? Forevermore. So who can I trust? I trust God. I put no trust in man, because man is just like me. Man will lie just like us. But God has never lied. Man will make a promise, and man will break a promise just like us. But God has never promised anything and didn't do it. Everything God promised, he did it. He may not come again when they want it, but I guarantee you, he always showed up. It took him 400 years, but he still showed up. It took him another 70 years, and he still showed up. It took them 42 generations, but he still what? Showed up. So what did that mean? All I got to do is just believe that he's going to show up, and he's going to come right on time. Right on time. Why should I worry about the storm coming? Because I know who governs the storm. But first of all, it's going to be a storm tomorrow. I'm not going to trade. I guarantee you, the same man controlled the church, controlled the storm. So that means if I know that God is God, why can't I come to church? But that's the place we want to go. But I tell you, if you want a game, you go there. And then, what's that do? Trying to find a way out. We love excuses. I need an excuse, but here's no excuse. And what we got for the next thing? A confidence affirmation. Look at that. A confidence affirmation. Affirmation. What that mean? That means I know that God can do it. David knew God can do it. How you know? When I was sick, I'm talking about I was showing up sick. Down on my lows. But then again, I know that I trusted him. And what did him do? Him brought me through. So that means all I got to do is trust in him. That's what that means. I got confidence. And you got confidence in somebody. If you got confidence in somebody, I call Deacon Master, I need this done. Deacon say, you're not going to do it. But I have to do that. If I call Deacon Master and tell him something that I need, Deacon Master, he going to show up. And then the thing I like about it, if he don't know it, he knows somebody too. I call Deacon Loud and say, Deacon Loud, I need this done. I'm not worried about it. Because he's going to tell me, when I get tired of it, I'm coming over. So what is that? That's confidence. So if you got that same confidence in man, why can't you have the confidence in man who woke you up this morning? Why can't you have the confidence in a man who moved you day by day? Why can't you have that confidence in the man who gave you that job you had? Why can't you have that confidence in the man who got you where you are? So that means if I got that confidence in that man, that's my affirmation right there. Because I know he can do it. Because he did it what? One time, and he'll do it again. I'm talking about that same man. And this doesn't tell us right there. David said that. So reader, when we get into the first one, what does it tell us?
Verse 16 says, the Lord is king forever and ever. The heathen are perished out of his land.
Who is king? The Lord is king. The king that they serve. Why would you serve something that you got to move from place to place? Why would you serve a king that's just like you are? He's a human just like you are. Why would you serve that? That's not the king David said. David talking about the king of all kings. David talking about King God. And we get to this, what he's talking about right there, serve that king, not the king that somebody appointed. David talking about the king, which is God, when he said that. The Lord, the king, and what have the heathen, they gonna carry. Isn't that something? The thing that they serve gonna carry. Their king gonna do just like him. What's gonna happen? He either gonna get old and die, or he gonna be young and still die. That's the king. So how can you help somebody you already dead? That king can't do it. I'm gonna serve the king that stayed alive. I think the song said he's alive and what? When is alive and well? All the time. So that's the king I'm gonna serve. That's the king you should serve. What they tell him, you need to serve that same king. David said, I don't care what you say. I don't care what you think about me. I'm going to serve the king of all kings. I believe it says he's the king of what? King. So that means your little king, your little small king, have nothing to do with my big giant king. Because my giant king has what? All power. He don't have some power. He has all power. How do you know he has all power? Because he made you. That's how you know he has all power. Can your king make you? No. But the king I serve made you. So that's the king you need to serve. When he said the king of kings, and then he said, you heathen folk. What's a heathen person? A heathen person is a person that doesn't believe in God. That's a heathen person. You know, we got a lot of heathen walking around here that doesn't believe in God. But I'm talking about this God. This king would tell him. So those heathen people talking about you, God, they saying, why you let me suffer if you believe in your king? I believe in my king because my king is the creator and my king is the maker of all things. So that's the king I'm going to serve. David tell them right here, this is the king you need to serve. And read it with that picture.
Verse 17. Lord, thou hast heard the desires of the humble. Thou wilt prepare their heart. Thou wilt cause thy ear to hear.
Lord, I know you heard it. How do you know you heard it? Because he is all-knowing present. That means he hears everything that you say. He hears everything that you do. If he hears everything you do, why do you come in at 12 o'clock at night? You should be at home at 11 o'clock. You know how we are. Why you sneak around with Susan? Y'all be home with your wife. He hears and he also what? Sees it, but they realize that, no, he don't see that part. That's what the heathen said. They hide. Who you hide from? I think the song said, what? You can't run, and you what? Can't hide. So it means no matter how fast you go, what happened? It's already there. You can move like a turtle, it's already there. So it's no hide. There's no hiding place. That's what David said to him. He said, oh, wait a minute. You talking about my God is already there. You heathen, somebody don't believe in God. If somebody don't believe in God, that don't change me. Because I believe in God, because he what? He woke me this morning. Your king didn't wake me this morning. My God woke me this morning. When you realize that God that we serve, that's the one who wrote it. The heathen, I don't have God. Something wrong with you. That's what's wrong with you right now. You don't believe in God. That's that heathen for you. And then read it. What's the next chapter?
Verse 18. To judge the fatherless and the oppressed, that the man of the earth may no more oppress.
Look at it. I want you to judge it. When he judged it, I think when they judged it, I go back to Solomon Gomorrah. What happened there? He judged it. What did God do? Did he destroy it? So when God judged, He don't judge like he judged you. When he judged, God will judge you. So I don't want him to judge me. David tell him, I want you to judge him just like you did before. Judge me, Lord. Let them know that you have all power, God. They cannot do anything without you. So I want you to judge them, God. He's still telling God. Look at, still telling God what? He's telling God what to do. God, this is what I want to do. I want you to judge him. Then it said about the oppressed. Then it said, as I read about that, he talking about the widows. You know, how people leave the widows. He said, God, look how they doing the widows. What is it? I got all this now. You know, I like to how people kind of use that there. If you want something from me, you got to do this. You don't have to do that. That's what they're telling them. Wait a minute. I got it. You need it. So this is what I want you to do. You know how people try to use us? But what I'm so glad about, God said, no, you ain't got to do that. All you got to do is serve him. If you serve him, you don't have to ask them for nothing. Because he have it all. They try to put this over your head. Hey, I know you're a single woman, but if you want my money, what time can I come back? That's not what this tells. What this tells us? No. Trust in who? God. But that's what the big folks do. It always something behind it. If you do this for me, no, I do this for you. You got to do this for me. Now you don't know people how to do something like that there. It's always a bargaining. Always. But God don't want you to bargain nothing with him because he has all power in his hand. All you got to do is trust who? Him. When you trust him, he has it made. And then, I believe we come to the last one. The question. Who are God's instruments of justice and healing today? Discuss the role of confidence, faith in God, how to bring justice to different situations in our world. Who are God's instrument of justice? The first thing we said, God's instrument of justice. Who do we think about first? It's people. We think about probably what? The preacher. We realize the preacher's supposed to be God's hand of justice. But Deacon said, no. And what I read about, it's not the preacher. If you want justice, you got to do something yourself. What do you got to do? Well, I read by it says, 2 Chronicles 7:14, written by Elder. He says what? Who is it? If my people. So who do they include? Everybody. We looking for the preacher to handle things. But the Bible tells us what? If my people are called by my name. No, not the preacher. He's talking about who? Everybody. If you want to change, you got to be what? My people are what? Called by who? My name. What that mean? He called out of the darkness to the what? The marvelous light. So when he called you out, you don't look for the preacher to do it. You look for who? My people. That's including all of us. If my people that are called by who? My name. And what he said he gonna do once you do all that? He would heal the land. So if this old land that we in right now is sick, since the land is so sick, what do we got to do? Call on who? He just told us. The elder said, if my what? People. Who is this people? Christians. We are God's people. Not one, not two, but what? All of us are God's people. So if we are God's people, and we are called by his name, that means we all have a job to do. What's our job? Pray. What's our job? Pray. What's our job? Pray. That means you never stop what? Praying. If you are called by his name. And then he said, if you called by his name, what he do? He would do what? Heal the land. So first we got to call him. I like the song said, you got to do what? Call him up. And then when you call him up, what do you do? Tell him what you want. What do we want, Lord? We want healing. We want to heal. You know, we always talk about how bad cars is. If we want cars to get good, what do we got to do? Pray. What do we got to do? Pray because they, what? If my people, if everybody in cars will be God people, what's going to happen? The land will heal. He just said right there, the nation will heal. If we call who? My people. He said, my people. I can't like when I read about that got good to me. But he said, if my people. My people. That means if you want to be a God person, you got to pray. If you want to be a God person, you got to live the life. Now, since you want to live the life, and I thought, I'm out here this way, folks. I hate to do it, I'm out to do it. On my way, I picked up somebody from the river. Yeah, I'm about to bring this river. I'm gonna let this person tell you what it says. Come on here, Pastor River. Tell me a little bit what it says. I picked it up this morning. Yeah, come on, man. Give me a little of it. I picked it up this morning. River.
I was standing right at the bridge, I guess.
She was standing there, and this is what she saying. What you got to say?
I'm so glad you know trouble don't last always. Oh, I'm so glad trouble don't last always. Oh, I'm so glad you know trouble don't last always. Oh my Lord, what shall I do? Oh, what shall I do? Hush, well, hush, you know somebody's calling my name. I said, hush, oh, hush, somebody's calling my name. Oh, hush, please hush. Somebody's calling my name. Oh my Lord, what shall I do?
I gotta pick that one up. River. I'm just glad I picked up. Hey, it's the same thing. Trouble don't last always. When you know that the man can handle trouble, it won't last always. And you know, I got glad I picked that leg up this morning. I'm gonna get out of the way now. Wait a minute. You right. Now your hands up.